Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Spiders Sound Off. This is Tom.
And this is Porter.
And we are together here on a weekday pod. We've been a little bit apart. I had a work trip to Fort Lauderdale for 2.5 days, so I missed the games. I flew out Monday night, so Porter really had to take ownership of all the Richmond events this week. How was your week?
It was, the week doesn't get any better than 2-0. I mean, those are good weeks, right? So great performances by both the men and the women this week.
Well, you were really 3-0, right? Because on Monday you got to go to
3-0. I went to the coaches show for the first time. That's right. So let me tell you that story. So I have a good friend from high school who lives in Richmond. And we both grew up in Virginia. I've known this man since I was 13, and we pretty much grew up together. And he said, "Hey, I was at the local randomly one Monday night, and your coach was on, and I'd love to go to that with you sometime." So I said, "Okay." Turns out this was the time we were able to make that happen. My wife showed up, his wife showed up, so there was 4 of us. Before my friend Mark and Katie got there, I was sitting. I went in to get us a table because I figured it would fill up, and it did. I'm glad I did that. And I got put at one of those kind of communal high top tables, and I got to chat up a new friend named Max, who's a big Spider basketball fan and listens to our show, which was cool. Mark and Katie got there, and then my wife was coming from church, so she got there a little bit later. And we had a great conversation. I mean, they have fixed the sound problem, so I could hear what was going on.
Yeah, so I went to the first week of the season. Sound was okay. It was kind of hit and miss. And that's what I sat with the Butlers, so that was kind of fun to talk to the Butler family, kind of
Nice.
Richmond royalty. But anyway, keep going with your story.
Yeah, so I was sitting with Mark, Katie, and my wife, and then I was also sitting with Max, who was kind of sitting at the same table. And first and foremost, I thought the food at the local was really good. I mean, everybody complimented what they were eating. So if you guys haven't had a chance to eat there, I heavily recommend getting out.
They are not a sponsor.
They're not sponsoring us. This was my wife had the shrimp tacos. She loved them. I had crab cakes. They were good. And everything that was eaten was really good. Full disclosure, I was focused more on my friend Mark because I hadn't seen him in a while. So I knew I could go back and catch the coach's comments on the archive. So even though I could hear them very well, I wasn't listening to them. I was talking to Mark and Katie, and Max to some degree too. So at the end of the coach's show, my good friend Mark asks Max, who listens to our show, who is the better basketball analyst between Tom and Porter, right?
Uh-oh.
Yeah, so I'm figuring I've got this slam dunk because Mark is there.
And you're there. Right?
His wife Katie, and my wife is sitting right next to me. So I'm like, Max, do me a solid. And Max thought about it for maybe 5 or 10 seconds. He put some serious thought to it, and he just turned and said, "I think Tom's the better analyst." So of course
one for Tom.
That delighted the 3 people I was with, nothing more than anything that whole night, and they loved it too. So Max, I love you. Tom definitely loves you for sure. Thanks for listening. We appreciate that. Both coaches came over and talked to me a little bit, which was fantastic. We have 2 great representatives of basketball working for the university, and Coach Mooney and Coach Roussel. I went back and I did listen to what they said after the fact, and it was a great show. Heavily recommend people check it out. And
now, let's be clear. I mean, you don't listen mostly the first time anyway. So if you're in a conversation, boy, you're not listening at all.
I don't have John O'Connor's natural ability to really listen to people. I kind of listen, but I sort of also am thinking about the next question.
Yeah.
And
well,
the next
remember,
thing in my life.
I agree what you said last time. We're only about 10% journalists, 90% fan.
Yeah,
and 10%, maybe it's more like 5%.
Yeah, I mean, John's a fantastic journalist and writer. I'm more of just a fan
we're entertainers.
Who's entertaining, people with my opinions. And it was a fun night. I'll definitely go back.
Was there a player, or is just the 2 coaches this week?
It was the 2 coaches this week with Bob Black doing the interview, and it was a great discussion listening to them talk, and I definitely felt just really like we have great representatives of basketball for the university, and it was a full house. I mean, every table was taken.
Yep.
So it was a great venue. I definitely recommend getting out to one before they go away for the year, and take one in because it's worth doing. And it's a small setting, so you can actually get to talk to players and other people who work for the university as well as the coach.
Yeah, I'd expect that to be weekly for the next 2 months. Like they had to take some time off both for Christmas and then there was a lot of travel.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'd expect that if it's not every Monday, it's going to almost be every Monday through middle of March.
Yeah, absolutely. It's and again, the food is great. So like if you just go for the food, that's okay too. Because I mean, I'm a foodie, so I love good food.
Okay, so you're well prepped after that Monday to like go out Wednesday to watch the men while the women were playing at the same time. So
yeah,
you had to choose something.
So my wife couldn't go. So I took our good mutual friend Woody to go with me.
Nice.
So he sat with me, which is awesome. First game for him this year. He has not gone to a game. He's a big Spider basketball fan. He's watched them on TV some, but he has not gone to a game. So Woody went with me. We had a great time. Woody bought me a Falcon Smash, which I thanked him for.
And you drank.
And I drank. Yes, I did. Had one Falcon Smash. That's my work night limit. Although I will say I wasn't going to do the post game show because I knew we were going to do this recording today, and I had to get home and watch the women's game so I could get ready for the recording.
Yep.
So I stayed for the game. I did not go to the post game conference this time. But it was a great game. I mean, look, the LaSalle game was the kind of result I think we are hoping for in the Robins Center. We were playing a team that wasn't as talented as we are, and we beat them handily.
Yeah.
And I'll say this, you can see Mooney is trying to try different things to try to figure out what's the optimal thing to do once we get to the tournament, get us the right seed in the tournament, then get to the tournament to win 3 or 4 games depending on that seed. And so like last night he interjected or I should say injected Thomas into the starting lineup. Thomas played well. We started off small as a result, but everybody in that lineup was a good 3-point shooter. In fact, all 5 people shot above 38%, and I think 4 of the 5 were over 40%. So that's actually an interesting little thing to try, right? It's a straight 3-point shooting lineup. Right off the bat, the same thing that happened to us against St. Joe's. The big guy sat down low, wouldn't come out on Mike. Mike drained 2 3-pointers right out of the gate.
Yep.
And that was the last time the guy sagged off of him. He changed the defensive dynamic just by doing what he does, being an elite 3-point shooter. So that was awesome. Mike stretched the defense. I thought Beagle played a really good game. He was really effective close to the rim. He was very active, doing the things that he does to score the basketball. In fact, I think he reached 1,000 career points in that game.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they announced that.
So that was really cool to see. Will Johnston, the elite 3-point shooter last night for one night, was an elite rebounder with 12 rebounds, all defensive rebounds, which was really cool. The defense I thought was really good. We forced a shot clock violation in the first half. We were very active. The other highlight of the first half for me was Mike. He had a and one slam on a feed from Daughtry, which you got to see. It was really good, and that's exactly what Mike, if he continues to do, will help this team do something in the A10 tournament that we all want to see it do, which is run the table and get a bid to the NCAA.
Can I give you a little Walt Beagle research that I did?
What do you got? What you got?
So they had 27 points and 14 rebounds combined.
Did you do this on the plane?
Night.
Did you do this on the plane, by the way?
No, I did it this morning.
Okay, cool.
Okay, first of all, that's a season high for them, 27 points combined.
Okay.
It's also the first time they both had double-digit scoring.
Okay. Interesting.
So I started looking back, like, well, what does all of this mean?
Yes.
One, maybe no surprise.
Nostradamus.
Maybe no surprise.
The best spider sound-off analyst we have.
Okay, hold on. So they average 14.7 points and roughly 12 rebounds per game.
Okay.
So first of all, if that's what your 5 is doing, that's not bad.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think sometimes we think of it like we got all these great guards and we've got, AJ and Daughtry who can kind of do the slashing. But anyway, our centers are doing almost 15 points, 12 rebounds per game.
Yep.
In the wins, it's 16 points per game. And the losses, it's 11. Okay, I look at that. I'm like, well, no surprise. You win. You're going to score more points. That's probably true for a lot of people. When they score 20 points or more, we are 4-0.
Okay.
When one of them scores at least 10, we are 8-0.
Really?
So 5-5 if neither goes to double digits.
Interesting.
Now, I say that. I think it's a neat stat. Now, we'll play St. Louis this weekend, and they'll both score 10, and we'll lose. And then it'll be like, well,
don't say
that stat was garbage.
Don't say that.
But anyway, what it's telling me is, like that's a real important part to our team. We sometimes, because they're splitting minutes, it's hard to tell. There's not one guy who's scoring 15 points every game. So you look at it as like it's a two-headed monster. But if one of them gets to double digits, we win. If they both get to double digits, like we're guaranteed to win. That's what the data is telling me.
Mike Walls, to me, is the most important person on this team. If we are going to make the NCAA tournament, I think it's going to be him that carries us there. If you think about how many good big men are in the A10, Mike's ability to stretch them and pull them out of the lane with his three-point shot, and also just his physical presence underneath the basket, he's going to be the difference maker. So the more he continues to evolve his game to that next level, which he's doing, more and more as you see the season go on, the better chance I think we have of making the NCAA.
I agree with you, but the one thing I will say, what the data is telling me is like, we just need one of them to have a really good night.
I hear what you're saying.
So like Walls doesn't need to score 12 points a game, 15 points a game, but if he's having a 6-point game because maybe he's getting 10 rebounds, then we need.
Let me say it differently. When Walls is in the game, the big is going to have to come out and guard him, and that opens the lane for a lot of the stuff that happens behind him. So I really think being able to shoot that three will be a difference maker in the A10 tournament, and I think it's going to be really important for us down the stretch that he continues to fire 6 3-pointers when that happens, maybe 10 if it keeps happening, and keep stretching that defense. It's really good. Halftime show was the kids basketball game. The people I was with, Woody and our friend who sits behind us, who's been on the pod, the barrister. They were loving the kids basketball game. One minor beef about the kids basketball game: the kids show up and they're playing in black and gold. I mean, why are we playing in VCU colors for the kids basketball game at halftime? It should be red versus blue, folks. Red versus blue.
Yeah,
look at us. See, these are the spider colors. Let's make that happen.
Yeah.
The gold team won, by the way, 4-2. It was a defensive struggle, but the interesting thing is that
we're reviewing the kids game on the pod.
At the end of the kids game, it was 7-on-5. The gold team threw every kid on the bench into the game, and so they stifled the black from equalizing at the end with a 7-on-5 set.
Okay, I don't want to bring up like old nightmares, but there was at some point in time, like 10 years ago, and I've got to figure out like how to find this stat, but there was a game when the team was not playing well, and we got a technical for 6 players on the court.
Okay.
That did happen once in a men's game. I was sitting somewhere else. It was a while ago, but boy, you just brought back bad memories.
I was like, tee him up. So anyway, that was fun. Walls had a great game. 3 blocks, 8 rebounds, 14 points. And again, the 3 aforementioned 3-pointers. He was attacking the rim all night. The defense was outstanding.
And they picked it up in the second half too.
Yeah, so the first half was exercising the demons of the last 3 games. The second half was a domination. We really blew them out of the building in the second half, and it was a great game. A great performance by the guys. AJ Lopez went off offensively again, which he's prone to do, scoring from all 3 levels. I can't say enough good things about the performance. It was a really solid performance.
Yeah, and we'll talk after we talk about the women's game. We'll talk about the big opportunity and challenge the men have this weekend playing at St. Louis.
Yeah.
We're going to need all of that and more. But it's great to come off, have a good win where a lot of people contribute. Our defense is really the reason we won that game. They played great, so it's hopefully the right momentum to get us ready for the toughest, the toughest game.
We
of the
moved
year.
back up to 115 in the net, and as you pointed out to me, and I'll steal your thunder, but I'm gonna say it. We have the A10 has one quad 1 win across all of its teams. They're 1-17 against quad 1 teams, and the quad 1 win is.
It is Richmond Spiders.
Your Richmond Spiders, folks. So awesome thing to kind of keep in mind is that we can beat some of the best teams in America on their home floor.
Okay, well, the ladies traveled to Dayton.
They did, yes.
And had a solid win as well.
One of the things Roussel said on the coaches show that Monday night, and he came over and said it to me at the table too, was he rested Maggie, Rachel, and Allie on the day after the triple overtime game. He gave them the day off, which they were all pretty shocked about because they're used to practicing.
Yeah.
But just because they had played so many minutes, they took that practice off. And it really reflected itself in the Dayton game. Those 3, specifically Allie and Rachel, came out on fire. Rachel was on fire from 3 early. Allie had honestly the most dominant game I've seen her play as a Richmond Spider. Now, I've only watched her for the last 2 years, but she was in complete control of that game. 19 points, 13 assists. There was a play with 2:28 left in the game where Allie drove into the lane. She had been dominating the defender all night long. She drove into the lane. She dribbled behind her back while making a cut, delivered like an ankle-breaking cut to where the player fell down completely on their behind. And rather than admiring her handiwork, to watch the player who's now fallen down in front of her, she, like without missing a beat, hit Rachel in stride with a bounce pass for an easy layup. And it was just the kind of play that I hope they played 10 times in the video review room for the team, because it was a highlight play. Put that one up in the Quealy Center, by the way, when folks come in, let them see that play over and over again. That was one of my favorite plays so far this year.
Well, I'll tell you too, like, I did not get to watch the game, didn't have time. Saw the stats. Like, it's a credit to Rachel that you're not saying it's the best you've ever seen Rachel, because she was awesome.
She had 26 points, unstoppable from 3-point land.
But she's been awesomer.
She's had.
Is that a word?
I can't. She set the Spider record for most 3-pointers in a game. So she's got a high bar to clear. But it was those two 45 points combined. We won a different way. So against Davidson, Maggie Dugan, took over.
She was pretty good.
The national conversation, right? Set an NCAA women's record this year. Became NCAA Player of the Week, I think, for the entire nation.
I think she was one of, depending on what you're looking at. Yeah, she was on the starting lineup. She was
in some starting lineup too. So like she had all kinds of accolades. Yeah. A10 Player of the Week. Again, we're calling that the Maggie Dugan Award now.
Yeah, she knows what she's doing.
Yeah. So, but here's the cool thing. So like with this dominant performance, we look at PRPG, which is a player replacement value.
You like saying we. You look at it.
Bart Torvik, not Bartovic like you call it. Bart Torvik, who's one of these advanced quants who really studies basketball, and the NCAA actually kind of takes some of those data feeds into their consideration for net. Now ranks Maggie, of course, the best player in the A10 by a long way. She's kind of running away with the efficiency ratings. Rachel is now 3. And it got me thinking, like, if Rachel continues this run that she's on, she could be runner-up to Maggie as Player of the Year award, which is kind of interesting to think about. And then Allie has now moved up to number 8 overall.
Well, part of that, too, it won't impact Maggie, but it'll impact, like, the rest of the vote of who wins the A10. So, like, if we lose to Rhode Island in the second matchup, like, all of a sudden, like, no one's beaten Maggie for Player of the Year, but you got to give Rhode Island credit if they do that.
Very good team, right?
We've got that game's not coming up yet, but that'll be the.
And there's a lot more games like Rhode Island coming up. There's still a lot of chances for this ladies team to make a move. Newell's back, by the way. Let me just put this out. Yeah. Newell's back, and she was doing Newell things, steals, points. She scored double digits.
Still with the mask?
No, I think the mask was off. I was looking at it. I think
at
the
some
mask
point
was off last night.
It's got to happen.
And the other thing I want to point out about Newell, she's shooting 39% on the season from 3-point land, which is, she's known for her slashing ability, but she's 39% from 3. That's actually really, really
But probably
good.
not a lot of shots, right?
I think she's made 13. So what's that? 13 for 33. So yeah, she's had 13 shots. Or 13 makes. So that's good. Dewey had another 2 quick ones. She's starting to shoot the 3 really, really effectively. It was a great performance. The team did not have a letdown. This first quarter was dominant. The fourth quarter was dominant. The second and third was kind of a heated mess in the middle. And we do have some things to work on. We kind of got dominated on the glass a little bit. Dayton had a lot of second chance points. But overall, a big win on the road against a team that had some good wins this year. You can't complain, and there's nothing to complain about.
Yeah, so another week of, midweek wins, and then we go on the road for the men. Again, probably the toughest game of the year if you look at the schedule. Kind of are at St. Louis.
Yeah.
The women are home against VCU. I want to talk about the men first.
Yes.
It's kind of our marquee game when you look at it. So St. Louis, just some getting to the stats first. They're 24 in the net.
Really good.
28 in the Bartovic. When you look at offense, defense, these are more Bartovic stats, as the net doesn't give you all the detail. They are the 28th most efficient offense and 48 defense.
Okay.
So offense is their strength, but they're pretty strong on the defense side.
They're number 31 in KenPom for what it's worth.
So they can shoot the 3. They're ranked 14th in 3-point percentage, and they're 5th in 2-point percentage. Okay. These guys know how to score. They average 90. Like, you think we like pushing it. We're kind of, a fast team, in particular compared to, Mooney's teams of 15 years ago when the shot clock was different and it was kind of all defense.
Mm-hmm.
They average 92 points per game versus our 82 points per game. So to give you a view of like how much faster they are. And their defense They average 67 points a game. We're 72.
Okay.
So, I mean, there's a reason why they're 14-1. They can score. They can play defense. An interesting stat, if you look at their shot, there's a new stat that was kind of created and put out, which is kind of your average 2-point shot.
Yeah.
And theirs is 4 feet.
Yes.
And I think that was number 1 or number 2 in the nation.
Number 1, 3.7 feet. I'm looking at Ken Palm right now.
So
they shoot it in close underneath the basket, or they take threes.
Or they take threes, right. There is nothing else. And you look at some of their shot charts, sometimes there is nothing else whatsoever. And that's what's made kind of them special. Their coach, John Schertz, he's a coach that's hard to dislike.
He's really good.
He's not someone who kind of, let's say, was a great player and got given a
Before you do the John Schertz review, they're second in the nation in effective field goal percentage behind Belmont.
Hey, how about that?
We got a win against Belmont, so there you go.
Okay, so John Schertz spent 13 years in Division II, winning 10 championships, and then got kind of a Division I job at Indiana State. He was there for a few years, was super successful there, got them
had a 30-win season.
Yeah, that's right. Got the St. Louis job, brought his best player, Robbie Avila, over, and had a great first year at St. Louis.
Robbie, this
is his second year,
who almost came to Richmond, if I recall.
Yeah, I was going to say it would be interesting to to talk to Mooney. I mean, obviously, it's a game on the road, but I feel like if Mooney had the machine of putting it as all his attributes of what he wants on a center, like I think he would come out.
Yeah,
I mean, he is a great player. But again, their coach John Schertz, he's considered kind of an offensive wizard, but obviously they play great defense too. So you got to talk about Robbie. But what's interesting about their team this year, well, Robbie is kind of like the big name. He's kind of if you recognize him, he's got the goggles.
Yeah,
he's been kind of a high profile player. Like last year, their team wasn't very deep, and so they had kind of maybe let's call it the traditional rotation of 5 guys who played a lot, a couple guys off the bench. What makes their team so special right now is they've got 6 guys averaging 10 or more points. So they're really deep. They return some good players, including Robbie, but they also brought in some transfers, a guy from Boston College, a guy from Xavier, people who could shoot and play great defense. So they're kind of a loaded team.
Yeah. Can I give you one nugget about Schertz?
You can.
So there's one coach that has beaten Schertz this year, and it's Kyle Smith from Stanford. Kyle Smith has very strong connections to Kevin Hovde, who worked for Kyle for over a decade at different stops, Columbia, University of San Francisco. And they're big friends. They're good friends, and so maybe I don't think
does that rub off somehow?
I don't think Mooney's going to be able to call Kevin Hovde's friend for a scout on St. Louis. I don't think the A10 is going to help a non-A10 help an A10 team beat an A10 team. Anyway, you know where I was going with that.
Yeah. So anyway,
but still, it's fascinating because it looks like Hovde and Smith are kind of cut from the same cloth.
So I mentioned how I think Robbie Avila would kind of come out of the. If Mooney could put in what ingredients he wanted in a big man, that's what he'd get. So just a little comparison to Mike Walls, who's kind of obviously our big guy. And again, this is not a place where the minutes are dramatically different.
Yeah.
So Robbie Avila is great from 3. He's 32 of 71, so shooting 45%.
Mike Walls is better.
Walls is a better percentage, but he's 20 for 43.
Okay.
So Robbie is more confident in taking that shot more, and maybe it's his team is allowing him to be more open from 3. Like I don't have those stats, but I think they both have a great. I mean, whether you're 46% with 43 takes or 45% with 71 takes, they're both great
elite
shooters.
It's called elite,
but it's not elite unless you shoot enough. And so that's part of where, Robbie Avila is shooting 50% more from 3 than Walls. So I think we both talked about like, hey, let's get Walls.
I think Walls is going to shoot more and more threes as the season goes on.
Okay. Assists, part of the Mooney offense is the big guy is not just sitting underneath posting up. Like the ball goes through them.
It goes through them. They create.
So both Robbie and Walls kind of lead their teams in assists, but Robbie's got 66, Walls has 41.
Okay.
So to show you, like Robbie Avila is just kind of that again, and their team is scoring more points, so there's more chances for assists.
Does he get more minutes than Walls?
No, it's not much more.
Okay.
I mean, again, he's like 25 minutes a game. He's not doing 35 minutes, and I think they have one less game than we have. So anyway, Robbie's a great player. Kind of looking at that team, they have different guys. I mean, the A10, they've had Robbie's not their leading scorer every game. They got a couple other players. who are able to score. And they've had. I looked at the 4 A-10 games, and 3 of the games they had 4 guys in double figures.
Yeah.
One they had 5, 2 they had 4. The VCU game was the only one, and it was a tight game at VCU. They only had 2 guys score. They got a 6'6" guard, Thames, who does not shoot the 3, but he's a double-digit scorer. And so again, you go back, think of the shot chart. I mean, that tells you he's driving and getting shots close to the rim. They do have a 3-point shooter from Xavier, Trey Green. He shoots 45% from 3.
Ken Palm says a 90% chance for a St. Louis win by 14 points.
Yeah, they're going to be heavily favored. I mean, again, they've got 1 loss. It's been a while when they lost to Stanford.
It's on a neutral court.
They shoot 44.5% of their shots from 3. We shoot 42%. Mm-hmm. So you think of us as shooting lots of 3s. They actually shoot a little bit more as a total percentage. But again, if they're not shooting 3s, they're driving to the basket or they're getting it into someone who's inside. If you try to look at what's a weakness for them, it helps. I mean, their depth has saved them at times because they do get into foul trouble. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, again, that's a benefit of the depth, but the one stat where they're not kind of whipping all of their opponents is like the volume at the free throw line. And we're a pretty good free throw shooting team. So there is a scenario out there where the foul trouble doesn't necessarily mean that they've got, people with 5 fouls who are fouling out, but it's just they're accumulating enough fouls that we're getting on the line, shooting one-on-ones, early in the first or early in the second, and we're able to sink those. Because we don't want this game to be a race. Like, these guys score too much. Like, the more this looks like old Mooney ball, the better. Of where we're taking our time, we're getting smart shots.
To compare our miscellaneous components for a second, so they're first in the nation in average 2-point distance at 3.7 feet. We're 306 at 6.8 feet. So we're taking our 2-pointers further away from the basket than they are. We are elite at 3-point percentage. We're 8th in the nation now. 39.6% of our 3-point shots go up and in. I think this is the kind of game where if we get hot from 3, Mooney's kind of masterful at taking complex offenses and figuring out how to slow them down like he did with Belmont. I think we could win this game. I'm not saying we're going to win it, but I think we're better than a 10% chance. How's that?
Yeah. Well, I again, think of their offense. They've got this inside-outside game. So, like, our defense has to be top-notch or we're going to get crushed.
Yep.
And so we need that aggressive defense. And then I think the more Daughtry and AJ are able to get to the hoop and get fouled, get to the foul line, like this, I agree we got to shoot the 3 well, but it can't be 5 guys standing around the 3-pointer waiting to get open, because that's not going to work against these guys. Their defense is going to, I mean, they'll know that they'll just get out on us. Like, we're going to have to find a way to get inside and score.
The Avila Walls matchup will be fun to watch. It will be. And I think because Avila's going to have to come out on him too, right?
Yeah, that's right.
It's going to be a fun matchup to watch. I don't know, man. I strangely feel pretty good about this game. Remember, we're 1-0 against quad 1 teams, and this is a quad 1 game. So, and you know what? We've been playing much better on the road recently than we have at home. So we're a road game against a quad 1 team. That's our sweet spot, man.
I'm gonna bring back one of my favorite segments.
Okay.
And Porter's a little nervous about that one.
When he does this segment, I think I know what's coming. I don't know what he's going to say. It drives me crazy. So.
But this segment is, what's wrong with you people?
What's wrong with you people? Turn that frown upside down. Or at least don't be a moron. What's wrong with you people?
Here we go.
Okay, today's honorees are U.S. Senator John Husted of Ohio and U.S. Senator Eric Schmidt of Missouri.
There you go.
Freshman senators up for re-election this fall who earlier this week decided the best use of their constituents' time was writing a joint letter to the Big East Conference Commissioner to let their alma maters, Dayton and St. Louis, join the Big East. Let me help you guys out. The Big East does not care what you think. They barely care what ESPN thinks, and that's their business partner. But I can picture it now. Think of, just like our forefathers, Senator Husted and Senator Schmidt sitting together in the room where it happens and asking ChatGPT to write a letter to the Big East to let their teams in.
Yes.
And I looked at this letter, whether a human or a robot wrote it, I'm not sure. I can say one thing confidently.
Yeah.
No one who runs the Big East got past paragraph 2. Meanwhile, perfect timing the next day.
This is the best wrong with you people yet, by the way. I'm loving this one.
This just happened a couple days ago. And today it came out this whole big expansion of the gambling scandal. And they did mention that St. Louis games were involved. Not St. Louis players, but St. Louis games were involved. And I just nothing strengthens your expansion pitch like a gambling scandal. And let's say we play St. Louis this weekend, so I'm going to pick on them a little bit more than Dayton. The basketball letter, it was basically basketball focused. Yes, it wasn't just about basketball. They've got other teams, but it's all about basketball. It said the University of Dayton and St. Louis University have consistently been top performers in the Athletic 10 Conference. History tells you those teams aren't close. Like Dayton's been in the NCAAs almost twice as much as St. Louis since a similar time period, since the early 2000s when they joined. St. Louis and Richmond actually have a very similar track record.
Yeah.
They had kind of a run, like 2 or 3 years, and then a gap, and then went again. Even I could admit that Dayton and VCU make the headline stage at a concert, while Richmond and St. Louis are kind of on the side stage. Dayton and VCU are clearly the postseason dominant teams.
It is like you also have to think about, there are women's basketball is picking up in popularity rapidly, and both of those teams do not have a great women's program, whereas the Richmond Spiders have a great women's program. Connecticut, we're looking at you folks. You want some competition in the Big East? Bring in the ladies.
Yeah,
Spiders.
that's right. So if the Big East needs advice, they'll call a TV executive, not the Ohio and Missouri Senators treating the Big East like a suggestion box. So as I said, what's wrong with you people?
That was a good one. That was really good.
Okay, so we'll move on from that and talk about the last game of the week. The women have VCU at home in the big Red Out game.
Red Out game, noon on Sunday, televised on CBS.
Yeah, we want to get as many fans out to that, trying to get 5,000 fans out to that game. I looked at today, I think we're 49, the Bardovic.
Yep.
VCU is overall, their record is 6-12. They're 2-4 in the A-10.
Played Rhode Island tough last game, though.
They are ranked 228.
Yep.
Their big problem, like when you first look at their team, you see they have kind of a super efficient player, Marianne Asari, a 5'7" senior. They announced, I think, right before the Rhode Island game that she's out for the year with a knee injury. So they've lost their best player. It's nice to know they rallied around that.
Looks like they slowed the pace down against Rhode Island. It was a 46-41 game.
Yeah, they're not a great team, and they lost their best player. And like you said, they played Rhode Island tight, so maybe there's a new strategy as they've lost some firepower to kind of really slow it down and kind of muck up the game. But you're looking at we're favored by a bunch, right? I doubt anyone's given VCU women's team much of a chance.
Yeah, look, the trap game for us was the game against Dayton because we had such an emotional win over Davidson and the ladies played so many minutes. Then you're traveling on the road to play a team that could beat you on a given night. That was the trap game. VCU is going to be emotional. It's going to be a wave of red in the Robins Center. And they're our crosstown rivals. They've had the best of us on the men's side, and we've had the best of them on the women's side. So it'll be an intense game. I would say, if you're a fan of basketball, come out, support our ladies. They definitely could use it for that game. Wear red. It's the Red Out event. We want to fill up the Robins Center with red. To thank this team for their epic run over the last several years. Maggie and Rachel, as I said, have, I think, 6 home games left.
Less than that now, right?
Yeah,
5.
and it's not just those two. It's Sam Dewey. It's Jada Green. There's just a lot of folks that we have that we need to thank. And so I'm going to be there. It's going to be fun. I'm just really looking forward to it.
Yeah, so big weekend. The men got a super tough game on Saturday, and hopefully we see you all at the Robins Center on Sunday to watch the women get another home victory. I was thinking before we wrap up, remember my New Year's resolutions? I think it was one of them that we only have one more loss in the Robins Center across both teams, and the men got that one loss.
Yeah, so no more allowed.
So no more home losses allowed, both for the men and the women, and then I'll be happy. Anything else you want to chat about today?
No, I mean, I think thanks for all you guys who are listeners. Thanks for coming up and telling us your ideas as well. We got some great ideas from you folks. One question we had that I told a listener we would address is, are these episodes scripted? And so do you have 2 seconds to talk about the level of scripting we do for these things?
Yeah, and it's evolved a lot. So I think when we did our first episode, it was probably a third scripted, and now it's kind of 1% scripted.
Yeah.
We decide who's doing what when it comes to kind of being, let's say, the owner of a game that happened or the scout of a game that's going to happen, and then we're taking notes. So I put them on a little notebooks. Porter often has kind of his computer out with stats and a few notes, but it's really we're doing our job, getting our notes prepped, and then we're trying to BS our way to the end of an episode.
And then Tom will tell me, hey, I'm going to do a what's wrong with you people, and I just send him a text saying, oh boy, here we go. I have no idea what he's going to say.
Right. And then I do some editing and try to cut Porter as much as I can.
And if you guys ever look at the YouTube channel, by the way, Tom's got a little personal joke on me. He literally picks the worst possible position my face could be in and makes that the cover coming in. So I'm always like, and Tom's always like smiling at the camera.
It's great. I don't do that. It's just clearly if you took an average photo over the 30 minutes.
You do 100% of the time.
I got to learn how to do that.
You're always smiling at the camera, and I'm always in some state of disrepair.
Hey, make a dumb look right now.
No, I'm not going to do that.
Okay. Well, until next time, this is Tom.
And this is Porter.
And this is Spiders sounding off.
See ya.